All right, so I just pushed record. So we're going to start by just quickly going through the interface real quick. I know there was some people who said they've literally logged in and that's all they've ever been able to do. So on the HUDL main page, the interface, there's the video window, there's the library window, and then there's the data entry window. And until you pull up a clip, so you guys will find out I'm a huge LSU fan, so I've been trying to get all this stuff uploaded onto my HUDL for a while. But as this pulls up, okay, most of you, if you've been in before, have seen data down here, you've seen the video, you understand what's going on over here. I know some guys in later meetings are going to want to go through the presenter and the reports over here on the side. I'm mostly just going to stick to the library today unless we get done with everything and you guys still just want to keep going. I can go as long as we need to, but
Okay.
So does anyone need explanation on any of these buttons, like how to add a slide, how to pull up more than one game at a time? Has anyone ever wanted to know how to pull up more than one game at a time?
Yeah. How do you do that?
Okay, so right now, you see how this one blue checkbox is right here?
Yeah. Yes.
If you click on the next one, it will now dump that LSU versus Georgia Southern film to the bottom of it. And so you'll see we're now at 160 clips.
Yeah.
So if I unclick the Georgia Southern one, we're just at 84.
The water. Okay.
So this will pull up 2 clips, and you can now go to the next slide. And so if you want to start watching the Georgia Southern one, they're right here. And I think you can add up to 10. I think 10 is the max. Trying to figure out whose audio is that in the background. Let me see if we can. All right, we're good now. Yeah, if you guys need to chime in, just unmute yourself and ask the question, and we'll go from there. But so here's how you load 2 videos at once. And from here, if we want to run a report, anytime you click report, it'll now pull the data from both games that you've pulled. So you can run data for 1 game, 2 games, 3 games, up to 10, I think is the max that they let you do. There are a bunch of keyboard shortcuts. I don't ever use them. I'm faster with a mouse. I can pretty much just click everywhere with a mouse that I need to. So then once you got a game loaded, okay, have everyone here drawn on a play before, I assume?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so down here you want to click scribble. I think these 2 are supposed to combo these 2 guys, and these 2 are supposed to combo those 2, and these guys, I think they're supposed to run some sort of a read here, and they don't block 5. Luckily, 22 is a pretty good player. But you can draw. You can undo the last thing you drew one at a time. You can just click here and delete it all. You can type a box. You can put bad eyes at left tackle here. You know, you can add some comments. Until you share the video and tell it that you want to share the comments, none of the kids will see this anyway. But their left tackle misses. Luckily, 22 is pretty good and makes the guy miss in space right here. But these are just the basics, and some guys were saying that they even needed that. Does everyone feel like we can move way past this type of stuff?
Quick question for you.
Yes.
So if if you scribble on there and add a comment and exchange the film, the other guys are going to get all that?
No, only if you click. So let me go to exchanges. So let's say I want to go share with Wasatch, since we got someone from this staff watching the video right now. if you just want to exchange video, you can tell it to include any breakdown data, but it won't do any like comments. So if you put on there like their left tackle's not very good, we're going to attack him all week, and then their coach for some reason can't get their video to load, you don't have to worry about them seeing anything that you've put on there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. And then also like everything down below, does that share or
No, that was, so I closed out of it too quickly, but on that page where it said, what would you like to send? It had the wide angle clicked at the very top.
Okay.
And then below you can click. So some coaches that I know, and I've known them for a long time, will actually trade it with all the ODK done already. So I'll just pull up Logan.
So like all your down and distance information,
Yeah,
your
everything.
play
And I
calls.
know there's some leagues that require that to be done anyway.
Okay.
But if I want to share this, so right here it says select breakdown data. You can select any column you want to share.
I gotcha.
So if
Okay.
you want to share, down, distance, gain lost, hash, you can share as much data as you want with the other team. So if you get along with the coach and you know that he's going to send you some data to save you some time.
Okay.
The first thing we do on Friday nights is get our film tagged up. And if I'm playing another coach that I know that's what they do as well, why have my coaching staff waste our time putting 1st and 10, 2nd and 7? Like, if you trust the guy and you guys are willing to trade data, it actually saves everybody hours.
Yeah.
Hours of time. So that is something that you can do pretty easily. It defaults to just send the video only, no data. So you have to specifically tell it, I want to send this data and this data. And especially when you do a two-way exchange, it'll always tell you, here's what they're sending. They've included this data. Do you accept, yes or no?
Oh, okay, cool.
Hey, Coach C.
Yes.
If doesn't HUDL, will they break that down too if you have that part of the package or something?
Yeah, so
The tag data
I
or
am
whatever.
not being paid by HUDL, so I will say this, and maybe they'll email me and tell me to cease and desist. But HUDL Assist is a waste of time and money, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, you guys still see my whole screen, or did it? No.
Yeah, it's all there.
Okay.
We
So
agree.
you can see my background and everything right now?
No.
Okay, I got to flip the share over again. Hold on. Here we go. So I'm going to resume my share. I think I told it to just share this video. Hold on. Here we go. So I'm just going to share my whole screen. There we go. So now if I minimize this, you guys will be able to see everything. Shoot, where was I going? What was your question, Coach?
I think you asked about HUDL Assist.
Oh, HUDL Assist. So
Yeah. It wasn't really a question, just more like
yes.
I think
So what
I think
HUDL
we
Assist
need-
will do is you send your film off, and they tell you that they'll send you back like 12 columns within 24 hours.
Yeah.
So what we do is we have someone up in the press box with a computer, and they just have this spreadsheet loaded and all this video. My computer's running super slow. And so what we do on this spreadsheet is we have the quarter, the start time, ODK, down distance, yard line, hash, personnel, play call. We have all this stuff in here. And all they're doing up in the press box is getting the play calls, the down and the distance correctly. You can import this spreadsheet, and you can have all of your data in HUDL in less than 10 minutes, as long as someone is filling in some of these columns. And so I always have the guy up there, make sure you get the quarter, the down, the distance, the yard, the stuff that we want ASAP, and the play call. If you miss who ran the ball, who passed the ball, that's easy to do on film. But you can import this spreadsheet and sync it to your data, and you can get way more columns in way less time than what HUDL Assist gives you. And so to me, I don't use HUDL Assist. I know some staffs will still pay. How much are they charging for it now?
Oh, hell, I don't know. I don't pay for it, but I just, I know Saturday, it's not awesome, but now the question is, are you going to share us that spreadsheet?
Yes, I can share. Coach, I'll share anything I've got. I mean, I've been a football junkie since I was like 10 years old. So, I mean, I have stuff in here. So for instance, game day stat trackers, everyone has the paper pencil ones they can do. What we do is once we've uploaded the film into HUDL, it's easier for us to use this spreadsheet because I've programmed it. And again, it's taken forever to load. But so on offense, if you put, number 4, Jimmy is your quarterback, the first pass he throws, if you gain 25-yard pass, he's 1 for 1 for 25 yards. If it's incomplete, the second pass, he's 1 for 2. If he throws a pick, then it'll add the pick. It'll add up everything over here for me. So if I go 12-yard pass for a touchdown, it'll build all of these stats for you. And it's all Excel. I know how to program all these codes on here. I can send you guys any of this stuff I've got. Like, it's not a big deal. I've got that one. I have a season tracker where you can just copy and paste the data from that game day stat tracker, and it'll actually do your season long stats for you as well. I'm actually trying to figure out how HUDL, because I know HUDL can do stats. I'm actually working on seeing if I want to have HUDL do my stats for me, because I know that's an option. But I've got this one right here. You just import your roster here, and week 1, if they got in the game, you put a 1 here, and it'll automatically say that kid played 1 game, and it'll auto calculate all of their stats. Rushing touchdown. It's a giant spreadsheet that does everything. You can do your scoring summary. Anything that's a yellow box automatically calculates for you. You can only type in the white boxes. So it's pretty neat. But we don't use HUDL Assist. It looks like the people are saying, how much time does my staff spend every week? So I was going to go through that specific topic in another one, but we have a little schedule that we do. Every coach on our staff spends about 40 minutes, and their job is just to do a few columns. And if everyone does their thing for 45 minutes, we will have all 70 of our columns in. So like all this data that we've got, these are all the columns we use. And again, I'm just doing the LSU stuff myself right now, but for a regular season game, let's see. Ever tried the HUDL tag? No, I've never tried the HUDL tag either. Anyone done that and had any success? Anyone done the HUDL tag?
No.
No? Okay.
I think we have 2 guys that walk the sideline and they tag film.
As you go?
Yeah, as we go. And then so Saturday morning when we do film review, it's usually as long as it gets uploaded and somebody's responsible to do it, then it usually gets done.
So what we have, and this was what I was going to move into next after I went over how to create a highlight. Does everyone know how to create a highlight for a kid over here?
Mm-hmm.
So like you click on a play and for some reason it's not showing it for this LSU stuff. Maybe I'll have to go to one of our own games. Let me see. Oh, because I just had this listed as a practice. That's why. So over here, on this star right here. So let's say your defensive end had a great play. You can click the star and you can either put a team highlight if you want to do a team highlight video at the end of the year or even every week. If you just click this team highlight, then it becomes filterable. And you can just filter by team highlights and export your highlight video in like 10 seconds without having to go watch every single play again. Or you can search, you know, if JJ had a great play, then you can tag it as a highlight for JJ. I'm going to take it off of him, but so that's how you do that. But then what I was going to do next was show you guys, how many of you guys have played with this change columns category over here, right here. So this organization right here of this change columns thing will save you and your staff hours of time. Okay, and let me see, there's some comments up here. We've tried, it was okay, you have to have someone, okay. So right here on change columns, we have this thing right here called game info. It is a custom column set that is only the basic game information that everybody wants. So it's just quarter, ODK, down distance, yard line hash, play type, play direction, result. If there's a penalty, what penalty was it? Penalty yards, gain loss, and we use the efficiency column now. But this thing right here, one coach can do this. And especially once you get going, if you put in 1st and 10 at the -8 and you fill in this category, if you just don't do 2nd and 1, if you just type the new yard line, it'll auto fill the gain for you and it'll automatically update the down and the distance for you. So let me see if I have a fresh one with no data in there and I can show you how that works. Okay, so right here, so LSU's on offense. It's 1st and 10 on the -25. It's on the left hash. So pass, left, result, incomplete. And as soon as I type incomplete, it automatically puts the 0 and it automatically updates 2nd and 10 on the 25 on the left hash for you. So if you have this column set up and you enter the data in the specific boxes, now what sucks about it, if you accidentally type the wrong number for the next yard line once, it'll fill in the gain or lost on the play before. And if you change this, it won't go back and fix the yardage gained or lost, which kind of sucks. So you got to make sure you type in the correct yard line the first time, or else you got to do both columns. Does that make sense? Anyone have questions on that?
And I guess you can customize the columns that you want in there.
Yes. So if you hold your mouse over this change columns, you can click manage sets and it'll pull up this little thing. You can create a brand new set from scratch if you want, or in my game info, if you want. So let me click on game info. Let's say you want the gain or loss to be higher on the list. You can move it wherever you want it. And
Gotcha.
then it'll put it in order down here in the order that you had it on that
Okay.
change column. So we have a whole bunch of those. So we have our complete column set, which if you're going to, now that HUDL charges you for storage, it's really important that you can like delete your stuff from your HUDL account, but not lose all the data that you put in there. And so if you want to export data, you want to have a column set that has every column you would ever keep track of. Because if you just have the game info one up and you export data to Excel, it will only export what's currently loaded.
Huh.
So you will lose everything else. So before you ever export anything, you want to make sure you're on the complete column set.
Okay.
Because then when you export your Excel spreadsheet, it'll export everything. So what'll happen is your defensive coach probably doesn't care about all the offensive stuff. So if he clicks on his defensive column set and that's what's loaded, it'll only export these columns. That's it. So your offensive coach might have data in other columns that he tracks, and you delete the thing from HUDL, and if no one exported that data, then that data is lost forever, and you'd have to go put it back in again, which is no fun at all.
Right.
I see you have a lot of custom tags. Is there any way we could get a list of the things that you use?
Yes, I have that on a spreadsheet as well. So I have, let's see, where is that stupid thing? I've been updating all this stuff and trying to teach chemistry online. So it's been quite a fun time recently. Where is my HUDL terminology right here? So I can send you guys this HUDL terminology spreadsheet. It has all the columns we use. Okay, so the first column we use is play number, quarter, and then I give this to all my assistant coaches because you might have a new coach who's like, Coach, what in the hell is 22 personnel? And so if his job is to put in the personnel grouping, he needs to have a little key of like, okay, I see 2 running backs and 2 tight ends. What is that? That's 22 personnel. And so it's everything we could ever put in there. Offensive formation, and then here's all of our column groups. So that's our full set on the left, and then this is just all the other individual sets. Because if you're tagging practice, so you'll notice I have this session right here. How many of you guys have been trying to do practice film and you're trying to figure out when did inside run stop and when did 7-on-7 start? It's a major pain in the behind. So by having that column in there for practice, for session, you just type in 7-on-7 for the set, like, and then if you were looking for when team starts, you just scroll down and it's got there's a column for that. So it makes going through practice film a lot easier as well. And then we don't split our practice calls up like we do our game calls. So we'll just put the entire offensive play call in there, like green right 66, if that's what we called on that play, that'll just go in that column. And then if the coach does want to go run data on it, he does have to transfer the stuff from the play call into the individual columns to run reports on. But I can send you guys copies of all this stuff if you want it. Like I'm not one of those coaches who thinks that I've got this secret that no one else could ever figure out.
That would be great.
So yeah, I can send you all that stuff. So, and I'll make sure I give you guys my email address before we go as well, so that you can email me directly. Anyone have any questions on this concept or how to set it up? So yeah, you just click that manage sets, and then I always if you don't put these little A's, B's, C's, D's in front of it, then it will automatically alphabetize it for you. So it's almost impossible to find anything. So we've just set it up to where A and B is all the stuff we use at practice, and game. This is all the stuff we use a lot. And then I've got the stats columns that we're trying to do now, and then this is the stuff that the coaches want. So we have a defensive list, and then we have the columns when we get the scout film from the opposing team that the defensive coaches click this one, and that's where they're scouting the opponent's offense for the next week, which is really useful because if you guys get into league play like we do, if you have these 2 different column sets, then what'll happen is your coach on defense puts in all the data for the first time you played them here. And then if you move that clip because you play the opposite team like 2 weeks later, all you have to do when you move that clip is flip the ODK and all your data is already in there. So now you can get 4 games worth of data, but you only have to spend the time to put in the data for the 2 most recent games. And there's no columns that the defensive coaches would use that would erase anything the offensive coaches use if you organize it well. Any questions on this column set thing before we move to something new? No? So is there anything specific you guys are like, I absolutely positively came to this because I want to learn more about this one thing?
How about creating a playlist to send to specific groups?
Okay. So yeah, we can do that. So let me go. Oh, Coburn's joining us. Coach, what's up, man? Steve, you there?
I'm here.
Sweet. How are you?
Doing great. Thanks for doing that.
Oh, yeah. So right now, they just asked me to show how to create a custom playlist.
Uh-huh.
So I'm going to go load film from back when we had a good football team.
Looks like Waylon's here too, huh?
Yep. Yeah, Waylon's been in here. All right. So let's say we have all this data in, and let's just say we're going to pick an offensive kid. So I'm going to filter ODK. I just want offensive clips. Okay. So let's say on this play, we decided that our tailback had the greatest play of his life, which was a pretty decent run. So we can click that blue button right there.
Anton's grandson. So
let's say, Coach, can we?
I was playing Fortnite and he kept adding me, inviting me to stuff. And then he would text me, he would Snapchat me, he would try to FaceTime me. Then he texts, and I wouldn't answer him. Then he texts his dad.
Let me try to mute him.
And says, hey, just like when we're recording everything, he's not answering.
Got it. All right. So that blue box is checked. So let's say this was a great example of how to run power. Let's say this was a great zone clip, and let's say and that's the best pass play we had the whole day. If those three blue boxes are checked, you come over here and click Save Playlist. And then it'll pop up and it'll say, where do you want to put it? So I created this specifically for this. So I'm going to put it in the first HUDL tutorial meeting, and I'm going to call it custom playlist example, and I'm going to click save. So now if you look over here, that custom playlist now shows up exactly where I put it, and it just has those three clips.
Okay.
And from there, you can click share.
All right.
And then if you have these groups already built, then if you just want to send it to your running backs, you click running backs and share it. And if you want to include the notes, yes. If you don't want to have the notes included, you can put no. You can tag it with a special message or whatever you want to do. And then that will only show up on the people that are tagged with that position group. Or if you just want the coaches to see it, it'll send it to the coaches. If you don't care and you want everybody, then you just do all team and go.
Okay.
From there. So I had at our clinic, we had a couple weeks ago, I had a DB coach that was like, what if I just need to find the 10 pass plays where we could have done a better job in coverage and just create a 10 play playlist like that? I said, well, as long as you're going through your game film and clicking the blue box, this blue box over here, or the circle, you can just save that playlist as DB examples or DV screw ups or whatever. And you can just share it with the DBs, or you can share it with the whole defense or whatever you want.
Okay.
And then once you're done with it, so you don't eat up all your space, you just want to make sure you're constantly deleting things. Back when they gave you unlimited game data, then it was easy to just save everything in the game folder. But so we do all of our playbook stuff on here. So our defensive playbook is on HUDL. Our kids can come here and look at it anytime they want. And if it's already on PowerPoint, everything we do is on PowerPoint. You just upload it and it will come and it'll just make every clip 5 seconds long. So there's our defensive goals. And some of the formatting from PowerPoint over, like on this last slide, sometimes just the way PowerPoint formats it versus HUDL, you'll get this little overlap here, but it does a pretty good job of just saving what you got. And I do all this stuff on PowerPoint and then dump it in.
It was one of those ones that like hang on the door.
Casey, have you covered how to upload PowerPoint to HUDL already?
I have not yet. Do you want me to show you guys how to do that?
That'd be
Yeah,
great.
that
'cause
would be great.
I got most of my, well, I'm not the coordinator anymore, but I got most of my playbook on PowerPoint.
Okay. So what you do is you go over to the presentation right here.
Yep.
The presentation. You can go check out their tutorial, but you click create a presentation. We're going to call it importing PowerPoint into HUDL. We're going to put it in that same folder. The HUDL tutorial basic, create this playlist. Okay, so now it pulls this up, and down here, if you're paying for HUDL Playbook, and again, HUDL will get mad at me if they get a hold of this video because we don't pay for HUDL Playbook either. I'm not going to pay hundreds of dollars a year for my own stuff. And so right here, you click upload files, and then let me go find one.
It's a lot of cult logos right there, Case.
It's a lot. Yeah, some of them are high def, some of them are not, some of them are whatever. I don't have my offensive playbook in there, so maybe I'll upload my offensive playbook. Open. Too large. Dang it. All right, we'll load something else.
Imagine that.
Well,
The defensive playbook fits.
Well, yeah, it's all got video. My offensive playbook has like animations and all kinds of crazy stuff in it. So
Yeah.
let me just load my QB manual. Okay. So you click that. It's going to upload your slides to HUDL. Depending on what's in your slides, this could take a long time.
Right.
So I'm going to open a new tab and just see if it went.
Is there a way to upload like an actual game clip to go with a certain front with your PowerPoint?
Yes. And I can show you how to do that. I was just seeing how long it'll take to click. It didn't go yet. So let me go back to that.
The creature is so funny.
Let's see. There we go. It's all good, man. Let's see. So let's go back to, oh, where did it go? Not in playbook. We're in here. Is it going to load? Not yet. All right. I'll create a new one. So I'll just call it adding video. So let's say this was slide 1. Okay. If you want to add video, you would probably already want to have it saved as like underfront examples over here on the side.
Okay.
And then if slide 1 was the underfront, you can then just click on, where did they put the add slide? Add slide right here. And you can upload files or more playbook data, or what you can do is once this is a presentation, just like I did before, click this circle. And again, assuming that this was only like 2 clips of the underfront, then it would have slide 1, which is the underfront, and then it would just pull up those 2 clips for you.
Okay.
Right there. The other thing you can do is, which I've seen coaches do, and I haven't gotten into a bunch of it yet because I just draw most of my stuff on PowerPoint to make it simpler. You can actually go in and, let me go find those. I think I turned off the end zone camera, so let me go. Or did I not upload it? Nah, I must not have uploaded the end zone film on those ones. Let me see. Some of these I've got end zone clips on. Because it's killing us on storage, you got to be really picky on what you upload. End zone film. Ooh, this is old film right here. Yep, there we go. So let's say you just want to screenshot this D. Let's say you're playing this green Hillcrest team and you just want to screenshot this D. You just full screen it like this. And then on your laptop, on mine, it's just the function print screen button. So I'll just push that. And then if I escape, and then I usually just load PowerPoint. Because unless you want your kids to see like everything that was on your screen, sometimes you do want to crop the picture. But then you just load a blank presentation, right click, paste the picture, and then you can crop it just like you would anything else. And so if you just want to get a picture of the front to insert on there. Okay. And then you can make it bigger if you want. Then just right click it and then save as a picture. And then you can put it wherever you want. And then you can, in HUDL, in this presenter. Oh, geez, I don't want that anymore. You can add slide, upload a file, and then you can go find that picture file. Let me see if I have. Ooh, let's go to all those beautiful Cottonwood logos. So then you can insert.
200 back apart, and that's it. Like, usually I don't.
You can insert that picture, and then again, you always end up getting this. So there, my QB manual's in now.
That's awesome.
So my QB manual is finally uploaded. And it's on there. This one shouldn't take that long because it's just a picture.
And then they didn't put anything.
It's interesting. Why hasn't HUDL created a snapshot tool on their program?
Because I think they just expect you to use that print screen button.
Okay.
And as long as you're in full screen mode, you really don't have to crop much of it out.
Right.
But yeah, so yeah, my entire QB manual is now on here where it wasn't before.
Good.
So you can go through. So that's how to upload those. Did that answer your question, Coach, on how to add clips?
Yeah, Coach, that was good.
Okay. Steve, there's a lot of background noise on yours.
Okay, I'll mute.
Okay. Thank you, sir. And again, we didn't make enough of those little two-play clips where you would want to insert. All I have access to is really those big playlists. But you can easily put, like, this is the team you're playing's #1 front and insert that clip so that the kids can easily see it. Anything else anyone specifically wants me to go over for today? And like I said, I've got all night. We can get as detailed as you guys want.
This is going to be good. I wish our DC was on here because he's got all of his playbook and stuff. Can you upload not a PowerPoint, but can you upload a Word doc into the presentation?
Yeah, you can upload
so
almost any file that it can recognize,
Okay.
and it can recognize all the main normal ones.
Okay, because we has it on Word doc and PowerPoint, and because we did a defensive clinic today, and he had a lot of it on PowerPoint, but I know he's got it all on Word.
Yeah, he can get it all over to here fairly easily. I know that's what Logan's doing, so I know Bart has me as a coach on his staff because I help him with some stuff every once in a while. So currently they're doing like these little defensive quizzes and meetings.
Okay.
And so, yeah, all his stuff, I think some of this was drawn on old HUDL stuff that he's exported,
Okay.
because that looks like HUDL playbook stuff.
It does.
But yeah, it can upload almost anything older.
Well, Excel, Word, all that
Yeah.
stuff it can upload.
Yeah. Like sometimes the formatting gets screwy, and so sometimes it's easier if you just screenshot your Word doc and upload it as a picture. Kind of what we just did, which
Right.
takes time, but sometimes the formatting issue, you can't get around it. So now this one's up. So now we'll have the horse head for slide 2. There.
That's good. I like that.
Coach, do y'all put your game plans throughout the week on those as well? I mean, as an upload?
Yes, you can. What we do, because I want the kids to have a physical copy of it, because when they come to meetings and stuff, I want them to be adding and like writing stuff in. So let me go find, coaching. Where is it? So I'll just go find one from back when we were, where's the one we played Hunter? Right here. So what I do is we have a practice plan here. And yes, this is a PowerPoint, so I could easily just upload it onto HUDL if I wanted to. But then here's their base defense. We did personnel scouting from our scouting film here. And Steve and those of you guys that are from around here, we don't do anywhere near this depth right now because we're not at a point where we're actually competing. We're just trying to not fall down when we're on the football field. But and then we go through here, and I did a whole HUDL presentation on this at a clinic a couple years ago where I went through and explained, like, when we go gun, they end up in a 4-man front because we ran a report and we staple those reports to the end of this scouting report when we give it to the kids. So they'll get the paper that says, when we lined up in this formation, they did this 83% of the time. And then this one,
That's your HUDL report?
That's just the scouting report we give the kids.
Right.
And it's a HUDL report that we run on HUDL. Yeah. And I can show you
Yes.
guys how we run one of those here in a minute. But then, like I said, I like to have the paper copy of it because we made the kids draw. So when we called 27 against this front, we made the kids in the offensive meeting draw how we would block this front when we called that play. And then we would make them draw how we would block this front when we ran that play. And if you go back and look at the game plan before this, you'll notice that I drew a different defense here when we're in 21 personnel than here when we're in 11. Because we knew they were going to be in this if we were in 11 personnel. And we knew they were going to be in that if we were 21.
Is this something you would give them on Thursday night, or is this something they had?
This is something we gave them Monday. So we would hand it out on Monday, and in our first offensive meeting, we would go through and just walk through, okay, I'll give you 3 minutes to read. So if you're the left tackle, the guy that you're going to block is either the left outside backer or the left end. So you need to know who their 2 deep is. And we just give them just a little piece of info, nothing super serious. This kid we put in bold right here. This is their best player. This kid was a beast. Okay, so we just put in bold, this kid is their best defensive player. They'll move him all over the place. But we just give them a little thing there, a couple minutes. Then we show them, okay, we've all seen the over or under front 1,000 times, but here's how they do it out of their base personnel. And then here's our game plan. And so, like, I mean, it wasn't super duper complicated. We're going to run ISO power, counter, and toss, zone, stretch, and midline. And we hadn't installed trap yet, so we were going to install trap this week. We just walk them through it. This meeting takes about 15 minutes, and then we tell them this homework right here, drawing all this stuff. You do have to turn this in Thursday before we played.
Right.
And if we noticed that anyone didn't know what they were doing, then we had problems. So yeah, and these were the play action. Just
Yeah, that's good. That's nice.
yeah. And I have blank templates of all these backgrounds in PowerPoint if you guys want those too. Like I have this blank template where it's just the 8 boxes and empty. Like you guys are more than welcome to have any of this stuff you guys want if you want it.
Was Dusty the head coach there then?
Yeah, that was when Dustin was there. Yep. So yeah. Does anyone want to see an example of one of those reports? I was going to save it for a later meeting, but we're doing good on time. Anyone want to see one of those?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that would be great.
Okay. So this is the report. And again, Riverton was our rival. So I've left this film up there forever because I use it every time I do a clinic talk on this. Oh, I forgot to unclick that other one. Okay. So now I currently have 2 years worth of us playing Riverton uploaded here. And so I'm going to click reports. And the first one I give, because I coach quarterbacks, the first one I run is this report here, coverage by ODK and offensive formation. And I create it. And this is what it does. So from our scout film, when we enter the team that this defense was playing, whenever they line up in what we would call slot formation, it pulls what coverage they were in when we were in that formation. So my quarterback got this on Monday from me, and he would know first thing on Monday, if I call a slot formation on Friday and I call a pass, I am damn sure going to call a cover 3 beater, because 93% of the time they're going to be in cover 3 if we line up in that formation. And the only time they weren't in cover 3, they brought heat. And you can share this with the kids, and you can click this blue link right here, and it will pull up and create that playlist of these 4 examples. So these are the only 4 plays in 2 years when we lined up in this formation that they didn't play cover 3. Okay, this was one of the 4. And they are down in the red zone. Almost everyone plays man down in the red zone. So they played 0 here. They played 0 on the next one. And again, you'll notice it's almost all down in the red zone. Okay, they played 0 there. They played 0 there. So my quarterback, seeing that, could click on that and go, hey, 4 times they played 0. He'd pull it up, and he would see all 4 times we were inside the 10. So then he would say, hey, coach, I know you said if we're in slot, they're going to be in cover 3 only 93%, but they only did this in the red zone. And then he'd click on this one, and he'd notice that they're probably in the red zone. And he'd click on this one and notice that they're probably – so then in his mind, he knows in slot, they're going to be in cover 3 100%. Like it is almost a 100% chance they're in cover 3. Now, if we go to our 2x2 formation, wham, which we called it, now they're 92% cover 2. So he clicks this, and I give him a paper copy of that report too, because it exports easily as a PDF. So when we go 2x2, they are in cover 2 92% of the time against this. Okay, so we ran power read, and he kept the ball like he shouldn't have. Okay. But that report is very, very, very useful. And that's a custom report. HUDL doesn't have this one built for you. What I do want to point out, our defensive coaches didn't enter a whole bunch of data when you're over there. If you format these correctly and your defensive coaches are doing their data columns, they can actually get a report of when the other team was in pro, the opponent played cover whatever this many times, and then you can actually click on it as a defensive coach and say, okay, they're playing cover 2 against this formation let's go see what their cover 2 beaters are. Because if you put in your data here and you go, okay, every time the team we're playing was in pro, their opponent lined up in cover 2 80% of the time, you can click on that and you can go watch the plays that this team likes to run against cover 2. So you can get a good idea of, okay, these are their plays that they think beat cover 2. And then you can click and find what plays are they running when they think it's cover 3.
And that's there because you put it as an ODK.
Yes, because ODK is in here, it sorts it by ODK first.
Right. Okay.
And so one of the reports I was showing them earlier that I still have, where was it? So now you guys are,
Can you get that off of Scout reports, right? On that huddle?
let me go
You can
see.
print those off, I think, can't you?
This report that I've got, or any of them?
No, like what you're talking about with if you wanted to see the other defense and how many times they ran, like a percentage of
Yeah,
slot or whatever.
the huddle reports that they come pre-built with, you have to, all these pre-built ones, you have to have every huddle column that they require completely filled in, or it'll tell you can't run the report. So I'll run this one for coverage, the pre-built huddle one. And so see how I don't have data for offensive, like, so I can't do this because I didn't have those two completely filled in. So it'll just tell me you can't do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's probably I think one of the things we were able to do with the assist, but I'm not 100%.
Yes. And does this report only go, and again, pretty much every report we do, we just custom build it because then we know it's exactly what we want it to be. But let me go to reports.
If you say huddle assist to Casey, that's a swear word.
Yes, it is. It is. We already went over that. Yeah. I don't. Huddle's going to get a hold of this video and sue me because I'm telling everyone not to pay for their stuff. But yeah, but this pre-built report is only going to pull very specific data that Huddle wants. Uh-oh, the evil empire is here. Cody.
Who's that?
Oh, Cody Gardner's here now. Watch out. The DC from PC's up here. You can use all of these, but it's just as easy to do this one right here. So we have a custom column called the front strength. So if teams are moving their 3-tech around a whole bunch, we have a column where our O-line guy will put in where the 3-tech is. And then we can run this report, and I don't think I have that data in there right now, but what'll happen is it's kind of similar. So it looks like I have enough in here. So when we were in pro set, the other team ran the overfront 73% of the time. And when we were in slot, they ran the overfront. So they were a heavy over team. 73%, 87%. So that week in practice, we never did more than 1 rep for every 4 that was not an overfront, because the team we were facing was going to be in the overfront, 75% there, 90% there, 50% there when we were in slam, but this is more of a spread set. So again, whenever we went 11 personnel, it got a little closer to 50-50 over or under, but pretty much they were in the overfront every single time. And to me, this report gives me just as much information as any of the pre-built huddle ones. So again, you got all these up here. These are the ones we like live by. I run these 6 every single time I ever get a chance. So blitz by field boundary. Okay, so I'll click that. Okay. When they only blitzed us 4 times, okay, because they weren't a big blitz team. Oh, you got to hop off. Sorry. I keep forgetting to check those messages. Sorry, guys. Oh, he left already. I'll have to send it to him. So they only blitzed us 3 times, but when they blitzed to the field, it was 100%. So if the will came, he had to be lined up to the field. And so we didn't have enough data here for me to like tell my quarterback that's a 100% tendency because there's only 3 data points. But for some reason, they only brought that dude when he was to the field. And they only brought the mic when he was to the bench or the boundary. So we don't face a ton of teams who blitz a whole bunch. So as much as we ran power and things like that, you blitz power and we pick it up and you're in deep trouble. So anyone else need to see anything specific they're looking for? Did I create more questions than I answered? You're not allowed to see
Casey,
that.
what calls do you deem the most important for your data input other than what they have built in there
Well,
from an offensive standpoint?
I have a ton. So the most important columns to me are the ones that absolutely everybody needs. It's the game info. And let me go pull up my LSU Bama film again. It's this game info set. So to me, these, you can't do anything without these ones. And it's the ones that everybody wants. Now, as soon as I move to, are you talking about me on offense scouting them on D? Or are you talking like me putting in my own data on offense?
Probably both.
Both? Okay, so me putting in my own data on offense is right here, this set of columns. Okay, so again, I always start off with the down distance, yard line, and hash. We don't do tempo a whole bunch, but it got really popular for a while for people to go 2-minute, no huddle, like vary their tempo. For me, personnel was huge, especially when we were at Harriman and we just had a bunch of kids. We would line up in 31 personnel one snap and then 10 personnel the next snap, and we were shuffling kids on and off the field all the time. It almost looked like a college game where we were substitution packages all the time. If you're facing a team or you have the ability to do that, that's a super important one, because then you can run a self-scout and you'll find out that when you're in a personnel group, you will run the ball 88% of the time. Well, if the defensive coordinator catches that and he tags personnel groups as well, you're telling him that he's got a 90% chance of seeing a run. So self-scouting yourself, personnel is a big one. Another one is motion. So I've got this column here for motion. A lot of teams have huge tendencies when they run motion. So that's another one that I would say is super important if you're scouting another team's offense. But in terms of me, we break our offense down, our pro style offense. We send in a personnel group. Are we going to shift anybody? We don't shift a million people. There were years where we did a lot of shifts. And then we have our formation, the strength. Did we adjust the formation? So if we call Slay right, these receivers usually wouldn't be this tight. They would usually be spread out. So then we have a close call where we will just take our formation and compress it. So they'll line up close to the offensive line. QB's in gun, nothing special about the backfield, no motion. And then offensive play is RPO. I'd love to tell you one's more important than the other. Do you guys mirror all your stuff, or do you have concept-based stuff?
No, we got concept-based stuff. It's not mirrored. So
it's like front side's always this and back side's always that, or can you mix them?
Right. Well, no, we can change them as we need to.
Okay. So that's why I have this concept 1, concept 2 columns.
So those are columns you can add in?
Yes.
Because those aren't on there.
Yeah. So let me go. So up here, team settings. So
dude, you're the huddle whisperer.
Anything with a little huddle symbol next to it is required for you to run one of their huddle reports. So everything with a little huddle next to it you have to have this to run some report that they've got. Everything else is almost a custom column that I've built. And so, like, for instance, this S direction means the stunt direction. SFB means stunt to the field or the boundary, stunt to the strength. And then when we're on defense, we tag everything separately. So what happens is if we get a team that brings their middle backer to the right A gap, I will put, oops, that's the stunt. I'll go to blitz. We have the same columns for blitz. He blitzed our right side, but he blitzed to the field, but the right side on that particular play happened to be our weak side. And so I can run a report and it'll tell me if their D coordinator calls his blitzes right or left, if he calls them field boundary, or if he's calling them based off my strength. So I can find out, because you might just run a report that says he blitzed right 50% of the time and left 50% of the time. But if you run all three of these, it'll be like 50-50, 50-50, but then this one will be like 80-20. So then you go, oh, so he's blitzing my weak side 80% of the time. It just happened to be the right half the time and the left
Right.
half the time.
So, and you add that column by clicking that blue add new breakdown data.
Add new
Okay.
breakdown data. And then you'll notice all these ones with locks, because I'm sure you guys have guys on your staff like my dad who could not spell to save his life. It locks it to where you can only type in the things you've told it.
Right. That's good.
So for
And that's
blitz strength,
that's
it can only enter those three things.
and that is under team manage.
Team management, yeah. So under team settings down here.
Settings. Okay.
If you guys see chats, please let me know, because I'm not checking it every. Why are you saying go back, Gardner? No, I'm not going to connect his audio, I guess. You ready for bed, buddy?
No.
Okay. I'm trying to think. See, you used to be able to go to this formations names tab and actually enter your formations, but now they want you to pay for HUDL assists before they'll let you do it, which is really annoying. But you,
Formations were terrible on HUDL assist too.
yeah, no, I believe it, because like as I've said, we can get way more done in way less time, and we don't have to waste time fixing what they did wrong. So to me, it unless they find a way of getting infinitely better at it, and to me, I don't want to sit around waiting for my ODK to come back for 24 hours. What am I doing all day Saturday? Like, we have our kids come in on Saturday mornings to have the trainer see them and try to jog them and just get the soreness out of them. And we try to just put together what we call the good, the bad, and the ugly, like 2 good plays, 2 bad plays, and 2 ugly plays. And I want the data up there when we watch it. Like, I don't want to be watching the play on Saturday morning. All the kids are sore and tired and would rather not be there. And you're having to watch the play 6 times to figure out, okay, what did we call here? Okay, like, we've all been in those meetings where you're like fast forwarding and rewinding and fast forwarding and rewinding. If we get all this in Friday night because we've uploaded most of it from that spreadsheet, then when we get there Saturday morning at 8 a.m., it'll already say at the top, Queens personnel sings right, G, Zalo, it's zone, and the quarterback gave it. So there's no guessing. The coach can just sit there and say, okay, on this play, okay, we had the motion, we ran Zalo, and oops, I got to go back to the other angle. And so you're not having to watch it and say, oh, shoot, now I'm going to rewind it and figure out who was supposed to block 5. We already know what play it is, so we know 77 was supposed to block 5, but he didn't. And so you can quickly go through. It just speeds everything up. But if you're sitting and waiting for HUDL assist for 24 hours to send you back this data, I don't know what you would do without it, because everything we do is based off of the data. Because your defensive coach could care less about the O. So if you have the ODK in there already, your defensive coaches who have like their 4 columns they have to enter, each of them, if you split it up like we do, they just have to click on this defensive column set and then filter the clips to defense. Oh, come on. There's too many of us on this call. My computer is lagging. Come on. There we go. And it just cut the list down to 50. Every coach can go through 50 clips. And if your D-line coach just has to put your defensive personnel, your front, and your stunt in, which was probably on your call sheet already anyway, then he can just type a word in here, push tab, type a word, push tab, enter, and it'll go right back to it's just like an Excel spreadsheet. So he can go through and do his 3 columns in less than 15 minutes and get your entire Friday night game film all done in under an hour with every column you would ever want. So these are just the ones that we tag for our own defense right now. And again, at Harriman, our defensive staff didn't do a whole bunch. But this is all we enter for our defensive coaches. And then if you're get the scouting film from the other team, then you go to this column set right here, and it's even shorter. So all they need to know is what personnel group are they in, did they shift, formation, strength, just anything pre-snap the offense does, and then what play did they run, and then you can find out pass pro wise. I don't know how you guys tag your pass pros. You can just do big on big, Bob. You can just call half. You can call full. Let me see what ours are tagged. Yeah, so we have a bunch in there because Bart added a bunch up. But we have rip, Liz, zone, protection, triple. Like these are all the different pass pros that we've used before. But for the most part, we just do full slide, half slide, or Bob if we're scouting. And then you can run a report that says their pass pro in the I formation is full slide 100% of the time, and their pass pro when they're in 11 personnel is big on big every single time. So now you can put in a blitz that week. Okay, when they're in spread, we're going to run this blitz because it's better against big on big protection. But if they're in the I formation on a passing down, then we're going to run this other blitz because they're going to pass pro it differently. And that's why I like the ability of these custom reports. Like being able to build a custom report, you can run a report on just pass pro versus formation, or pass pro versus personnel, or the options are limitless as long as you have the data in. And so organizing the data and getting it in the computer is the number one priority.
Exactly. I like adding the custom columns in there. I mean, I knew they were in there, but I didn't know we could add to them. So that's good information that you gave me. Is able to add columns in there and name them, and then put in the drop down box what you wanted in there.
Yes. And some of them we leave open so they can type whatever. Because what sucks is, I mean, HUDL is a computer. So if one person spells power as PWOER because they accidentally hit the wrong key first, HUDL will treat those two as completely different plays.
Which screws up your percentages.
Yes, which makes your percentages wrong, and then you've got this play in there. I mean, it's fixable, but you don't want to waste time fixing it. So we use 72 columns total. But no one coach has to enter. The coordinators do have to enter about double the columns as anyone else, but that's your job. For the most part, any position coach will only have to enter like 3 or 4 columns max. And so if they get on and go enter their 4 columns, some of them want a little, hey, coach, I'm a little faster on the computer. Can I do 6 columns? You can break it up and assign it, and you'll be shocked at how fast you can get it in if everyone will just sit at their computer and do it. But like, it's not worth the money to me to farm it out and wait for 24 hours for it to come back. There's too much stuff I can do with it. if I just have the ODK and the down, and like just having this basic game information saves hours and hours and hours of time.
So in one of your next clinics, are you going to show how you upload the stat Excel sheet?
Yes, I can do that. I mean,
Okay.
I can show you guys. I mean, I don't want to screw it up. Let me see.
Casey, this is Steve. I'm going to bolt for tonight, so
Okay.
appreciate you.
Nope, you're good.
Okay.
I'll be once I exit this, I'm gonna upload the video once it processes, and you'll be able to get to it from there too.
Awesome.
If you
Appreciate
want
it.
to rewind it or send it to your staff.
All right. See you,
Thanks,
bud.
Steve. We'll see you.
Hey, Steve.
Bye, Waylon.
All right. So for instance, let's say, and I'm just gonna delete this when I upload it. So again, let me click back on my LSU Bama game. So over here, does everyone see this little like 3 dots right here? That import data, if you click that, it'll say upload your Excel or CSV file, and then you just go choose a file. And again, do I have one that's already, I think I've deleted all my old ones. Let's see, maybe not.
So does your Excel spreadsheet have to match? The columns have to match?
Yes, and it'll ask
Essentially.
you like, I don't know where this is because this isn't a column on HUDL. Where do you want me to put it? And you can match it.
Okay.
Shoot, maybe before I do my next one, I'm thinking about Friday, maybe doing one for like another more advanced one. I'll throw together like a spreadsheet example.
So does the columns have to be in the correct order as well?
No,
I mean, I know they got to be.
it doesn't have to be in the right order. It just has to be able to recognize it. So let me go see where I put. Oh God.
So if we took your spreadsheet, we would just create our own, whatever columns we
Yep.
wanted. We wouldn't necessarily have to import 72.
Yes.
Gotcha.
So let me go to here. So I was having the problem of I had these like fancy headers on this Excel spreadsheet. So every time I wanted to upload it, like it wasn't saying passer. It was saying like player 1, player 2, player 3. And so I was having to, every time I uploaded it, tell the computer player 1 is always the quarterback. Player 2 is always so I've gone in and actually changed this. And like HUDL doesn't have a column for like time of possession. So it'll say, where do you want me to put this start time data? I just click don't import it. And then HUDL ignores it. But I've gone through and I've made sure like that's the quarter ODK down. I've made sure that these are now matching exactly what column HUDL already has. And HUDL doesn't have an end yard line. So you could tell it to ignore that. But again, and I got to fix this because stat doesn't help us at all. But I'm in the process of updating this. I've never used before because it's just been easier for me to do it separate. But I'm trying to see if I format this spreadsheet correctly, how quickly can I just get the data into HUDL? And then if I have to tweak the 3 or 4 where we didn't see who got the tackle, then I can do that. And then I have an example of what it looks like if you do it. So like I have for a kickoff, you put K, and again, I got to modify this because I've been changing the stuff. So let me work on this tomorrow because I've been in the process of transitioning it over before I send this one to you guys.
It's still smaller than your play sheet that you had at Harriman.
What do you mean it's smaller than my play sheet? This is the same one I had at Harriman, man.
I know, I have it. It's like 170 pages.
Oh, you talking about the playbook?
Yeah.
Oh no, that we still have that. That playbook is still around. That's why HUDL couldn't import it earlier. Yeah, like our playbook is where are we at? Offense. I mean, it might take a while to load it. So, oh, it's password protected too, so no one can steal it. But no, it's only 194 pages now. So, but yeah, we go in and anyway, like I said, this whole thing is animated, so we get to hear Because I've debated doing a PowerPoint tutorial because everyone's like paying money for all this HUDL playbook stuff. And like you can do all kinds of cool stuff on PowerPoint if you got the time. You can animate it and do everything. Like
I think you should start doing that.
like there's a pull read. Yeah. Anyway, so
It's a lot easier for kids to understand than sometimes us chicken scratching.
yeah. I mean, it's a pain. You got to get it formatted correctly the first time. So, like, right here, this is how we teach Smash. If the corner sinks, throw the hitch. Like, okay, throw the hitch. And then if the corner sits on the short route, then throw the corner. Yeah, like, anyway, we got all kinds of fun stuff. Now, HUDL can't import those animations. So, if you're trying to get those animations into HUDL, it won't do that.
But I'm able to do the animations where like the circles. How did you get the football in there?
So I inserted the picture and I have, so I just insert pictures and I want to say it's in that, let's see, coaching, playbook graphics. So yeah, I just have this Wilson football that I downloaded forever ago. And then I just shrink it. And then you can go to animations, add an animation, and let's do a motion. Where is it? Here we go. A custom path. So let's say we want that football to start there and go there and end up there. So that's what it's going to do. And then we can tell it, I want it to go faster. And then, oh geez, I got to move this. So now it goes faster or it goes slower or it can, yeah. So, and then if you don't like where it's at, you can modify, you can shrink it if you want to. Like, it takes a little bit of getting used to, but oops, that's my computer yelling at me saying I'm doing something I'm not supposed to. But there we go. So now I can go, oh, there we go. So there's, yeah. It takes a lot of time. You got to make sure all the timing's up here. It can be quite time consuming to get the first one done, but once the first one's done, you can copy and paste and then just change the direction they go. So once you've drawn ISO, it's easy to draw toss because you just have the ball go out and instead of the lineman, yeah. Doing the first one probably takes hours, but once the first one's done, it's copy and paste and it gets faster and faster on that. Any other specific questions? Like I said, I got all day. We've been going for an hour and a half, but.
What's one of your, show us what's your game day play sheet look like?
I don't use a play sheet.
You don't?
Nope. You talking about the one that we like write on the field, or are you talking about one like what's his name from the Chiefs has like a 57 by 67 poster in front of him?
No, yeah, just like for like if you had, I know you're the brain bucket, but I mean like if you have like a game day play sheet that you know, your formations and what down and distance you're going to run stuff first through 1 through 5 yards, you know, long 2-minute offense type stuff. You have something like that.
So we build most of that into that. So I honest to God do not have one of those. So when I was just the OC, not the head coach, and I was up in the box, I literally just had one of those blank formation sheets. And the first series, I tried to call as many formations as I could, and I would hurry and just draw the defense we were getting. Because so many teams are spread now, we get every scout film we get is against a spread, against a spread, against a spread, and we were 21 personnel. And so I really had no clue exactly what they were going to do until I got to the game and drew it out. So I would have an idea like, okay, I need plays, or I need to line up in trips the first series. And a lot of that I had to kind of build mid-game once I really knew what they were going to get to us. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah, I mean, just going off of like just knowing you, like your receivers were like 9, and you could call audibles all, that everybody knew their number designation type stuff, like probably made it easy.
Yeah. And the way we teach everything on offense, it's all like concept based. So like if my quarterback comes up to the line of scrimmage and we had ISO called to the right and they line up in a front that we can't run it that way, he just uses the color orange in our normal cadence. So our cadence includes a color still, which I know a lot of people are just ready, set, go, let's do it. But if he comes up to the line and we don't want to run ISO this way, he just says orange and everyone knows we run to the opposite side. And away we go. Everything's concept based. And so, I mean, there's times where we would literally just have our coach signaling in the plays, hold up his arm like he's flexing his bicep and point at his bicep. And that was all we would send into the quarterback. And he would just get in the huddle and say, he would call a formation to the field. He would just say right formation. And then he would just say power on 1. And he would come to the line of scrimmage and he would know, because of our scouting report, we always wanted to run power to the widest 9-tech. So against this defense, we would run power at this kid right here. So if we had called power in the huddle and no direction, and he would come up to the line and he would give the color that means left. And so as soon as he gave the color that means left, everyone would know we're going down, down, down. He's going to pull and wrap for him, and the fullback's going to go. I mean, we've already got a C gap. Look at that. So there was times I didn't even call plays. So the year we won the state title, I didn't call the play that won the state championship game because we were down 4 with like 30 seconds left. We complete a pass down to the 2-yard line. And all year long, the kids thought I was goofing because they would always say, hey, coach, what's our number 1 play, man? Like if the season's on the line, what are we running? And I had told them, we're going to line up in the eye and we're going to run dive right. And we're going to give it to Caden, our fullback, because if we needed – it was 4th and 6 inches, he would get us 8 inches. If it was 4th and 2, he'd get us 2 yards and 7 inches. And so the clock's running down and we're about to lose the game. We complete a pass. The entire offense sprinted to the line, and not a single coach on the sideline called a play. Our kids ran up there, lined up, ran, dive right, gave it to the kid. We scored a touchdown and beat Lone Peak. I don't like confining myself to only running these 4 plays. Because what if you get into the game and their coach did a good job scouting you and your game plan was to run this direction and they keep running this blitz against you because they know you run this direction like 80% of the time. Like your whole call sheet is built off of this play being able to run, and they have now taken it away. And so I don't like limiting myself to that. I don't mind having a couple of okay, these are my 3rd down plays that we put in this week, 1 or 2, but I don't like giving myself, because I don't know how Andy Reid even knows what's on that sheet. I'd get lost on Andy Reid's sheet anyway. So by the time I found what I was looking for, we'd have a delay of game. Any other questions? Anyone want to see anything different for today?
When are you looking at doing this again?
I was debating whether I could go Friday. I got to check with the wife because she's been up taking care of the kids for the last couple hours. But because I know some guys were really looking for more advanced stuff, like how to run completely custom reports and how to build them. And so I was leaning towards Friday, and then maybe another one Monday next week, every couple days. Does that sound doable, or does everyone want a week to digest it? And
Those sound fine for me. Just I'll be sure I follow you again on Huey so I can get the links.
Okay. Yeah, because I posted it on Huey, and then I'll have it on my Twitter. So follow me at CQ Miller 4, I believe, is my Twitter these days. Let me go find Twitter.
I'm still a dinosaur. I don't have Twitter.
No Twitter? That's all right. It happens. Let's see. So Craig followed me, but yeah, my Twitter is – I don't even remember what it is. Yeah, at CQ Miller 4. My email is cqmiller.football@gmail.com. Or does it say it over here somewhere? Anyway, I can type
Hold
it.
that so I can take a picture of your Gmail so I can send you an email.
Of my Gmail. Okay, here, I'll do this.
Yeah, I'm just needing your email account.
There we go. cqmiller.football. It's right there.
Got it. Thank you.
Yep. And my Twitter, or not my Twitter, my YouTube channel is through this email right here. And I'm going to, as soon as we're off of this, it's going to take a long time to process the file. So I might not upload it till tomorrow. But I will be uploading this whole thing onto my YouTube. So if you want to go back and pause it and go through it a little bit slower or try to follow along, you guys can do that as well. Anything else you want to get into tonight at all?
Coach, what's your is the YouTube channel the same? You just search it or what?
Yeah, if you search for me, so if you search, so go to YouTube. And just search for, I think it's just Casey Miller Football, and I should be like the first one. Yep, right here. Third one down. So you just click right there. And then this is all me teaching chemistry right now because I'm uploading all my chemistry stuff to there. But you can go videos. I've got highlight videos and stuff, but I will create a playlist specifically. Oh, my son must have liked all these videos. I will create a specific playlist right here. I'll probably put it right after my chemistry ones right here. It'll be like B-HUDL tutorials, and I'll put it right there for you. And then these are all of our old football videos and things. But anyone got any other questions? Oh, chat. I see 2 on the chat. Whenever. Cody still never told me why he wanted us to go back. But other than that, I went and cut up all these LSU all 22s I could find, and I cannot believe some of the throws this Burrow made. Yeah, I played quarterback, and I'm like, don't throw that. Oh, wait, it worked. Never mind. Like, yeah.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Yep, no problem, man.
We'll chat soon.
Yep.
Yep. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep. Anyone else?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
We good?
Yes, sir.
All righty. Like I said, if anyone needs anything, email me, Twitter me, whatever. Well, I'll get it to you.
Sounds great, Coach. Thank you for doing this.
Thanks, guys. Yep, no problem.
Yep. Thanks, Coach. Bye.
Yep. Bye.